Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Swami539. It's been a long time since I did one of these, and I put this on my other channel as well. But there's, many reasons, and I've upgraded to the new Pro. Um, and I'm gonna talk vaguely about that, but this is gonna be more of an unboxing. And again, we'll just kind of go over it vaguely. Should you buy the Pro? Is there value to it, or at least in my opinion? And so let's get right into this. All right, now I do apologize for the light that's probably glaring off the box. It's actually not even that bright outside, but it just kind of happens. Before unboxing this, obviously this box is a lot bigger. Compared to the original PS4 box, maybe that was because just when I bought it at launch, but I felt that box was a little more, they put a little bit more effort in terms of quality. This is just a little thin piece of cardboard, which isn't bad, but I kind of would have liked the other box, kind of like how the Xbox and the PS4 first did it when they got released, but that's okay. And as we know, the Pro comes in the 1 terabyte, which is good. You can still upgrade the drive, but really kind of after a terabyte, I don't really see the need for upgrading, especially if you can just save your stuff. Oh my god, why can't I? There we go. See, they followed my box idea. They put a box sort of inside another box. And I'm being kind of gentle with it because I even though this is not the kind of boxing I expected, I don't want to break the box. It's just it's something I always like to look at when I'm bored, especially if I buy games. I'll always like just look at the box while I'm out. And actually, let me flip this around. So here we have, it says PS4 Pro, and let's open this up. But really, once you get to like a terabyte, unless you're really playing your games that often, you can just save your storage to, the cloud, or you could save it to other devices, and then still keep that progress. But once you get to a terabyte, unless you're playing all those games, I don't see a need for the game data or the game application installed on there. And of course, this is a quick start guide, which generally nobody, I think, looks at. I don't look at it. Maybe I might open it like once, keep it, but I don't usually look at that, so I'm just gonna throw that on the ground. And obviously right here we're gonna have the console. This will be, I don't want to say accessories, but it's kind of like power cords and probably the headset and all that. Alright, and so we have one more, or actually, what is this? Oh, okay, a little free trial or something like that. Fortunately, I won't be able to use that. I already have PlayStation Plus. It was a nice booklet, so throw that on the ground. Take this out. Alright, so here we have the console. I didn't kind of want it to I kind of wanted to get the other box out first, and then I would take that out. So this box, the smaller box, kind of has all the other essential things. It'll have the HDMI cable that comes with it, the controller, the power cord, the charging cable, the mono headset, which actually isn't bad because I kind of needed a little headset, kind of for recording. It's not the best headset, but hey, it's just for chat audio, so it's all good. So let's leave the console for last. Let's do one of those best for last kind of deals, and let's open this up. Okay, it's much easier if we open it up on this side rather versus me trying my other theory of opening it from the top here. This is the chat headset. We do know they kind of have a slightly redesigned controller. We know now both the ports on here are USB 3.0s, all three of them on the console, so they're faster ports that can put out more power, and the controls are more precise, which unless you play action games like COD or Battlefield, you really won't notice, but there have been a few, actually quite a few times where I have noticed it. But the mono headset remains unchanged. I kind of wish they would have done like an Xbox thing where they kind of give you at least some kind of proper, kind of, I guess, on the ear, over the ear headset. But this isn't bad for, like, I don't want to say portability, but for convenience. We obviously know built-in power supplies, so little thin cable, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Xbox One S has, which is good because they needed that. Here we have the micro SD cable for charging, and you know, obviously if you have any other micro SD devices, this will work. So it's a very useful cable, even if you're an iPhone guy. As having both iPhone and Android, it's quite nice. And last but not least, we have the HDMI cable, which isn't long, but hey, it's good. It's a nice HDMI cable, and the redesigned controller. Now really, once you use this, you won't be able to tell the difference. And I probably actually won't be using this controller just yet. I'll actually probably keep this one in the plastic. Because what I like to do is to keep these the thumbstick, I guess, grips on there that are factory installed. I like to put my own on there. Not because they're more comfortable, just because I like to keep you know, those grips fresh. It's just something I started doing this year, so that way I don't have to buy a $60 controller. You know, if one of the grips on top of it goes out, I can wait a week. I'll still have that grip to use, and you know, for like $10 or something, I can go to GameStop and pick one up. So that's something I like to do. I'm not saying you have to do it, but I like the idea of doing that. But most importantly, without the console, all of that is useless. So let's get to the console. Let me hold it, because I don't want it to drop. There we go. There we go. And obviously we've gone for that, you know, they've still gone for their usual design, except now instead of 2 layers, we have 3 layers. They just keep adding on layers. It's like when you get your favorite food and they just keep adding on layers. And the wrapping here is actually quite unusual. I thought they would tape this up. But that's okay. We see the rubber, the feet, the grommets, whatever you want to call them. They have the PlayStation logo, which is, it's just a nice touch. It's quite unique. I completely opened this on the other side. We have the logo, but let's get back again to the ports. So we have our usual ports. We have the power supply, HDMI. We have the port right there, which is for the PlayStation camera. We have the optical audio. So if you have maybe some of the Turtle Beach headsets, I know they use them. If you have maybe some surround sound, you can use it. We have a 3.0 port right back there, as well as their 10100 1000 Ethernet port, which is good if you're like me and you got AT&T fiber and you can get like a gigabyte now. It's good. We have 2 more ports on the front, again, that are both USB 3.0. We have on the top layer here, we can see this is where they put the disc tray right here, if you can kind of see it. And I'm just trying to, okay, here we go. We have the power. Okay, I'm seeing symbols for like a power thing. I'm guessing I probably have to like plug it in. I'm trying to, maybe I'm just like retarded or something. But either way, again, this isn't, I'm not doing like a review on this. I'm kind of just more so doing a unboxing. But again, you've gone for the triple stack layer. Some might like to call it Oreo. Maybe some refer to it as, you know, triple layer cakes. However we want to do it. This is obviously the biggest of them, and when you pick up the box, you can feel it. It's not like heavy where you can't lift it, but you can feel over the other PS4. It's not like something you could have just got on that day when you got it, walked around with it, holding it with one hand, with the in the box and just swinging around because it's kind of like lightweight. One, you can't do that because of the weight. Two, they didn't even give you one of those things on the box to hold it like that. Kind of still disappointed about the box. But what this is gonna do, and to me, I find this a little bit subjective, the way in terms of value that you can get this, or who is this specifically for. I don't think this is specifically for anybody, like any type of gamer for that's on PlayStation. I know that's a question that you can answer in a lot of different ways. I think it all depends on your situation. In my case, I know that I had the money to do this, so I traded the console in, and I will be getting a 4K TV soon. So I do know, even with the very few games that run native on here and the upscaling, and that goes for both consoles with the Xbox One S also. But I know that once to really, in order to maximize the potential of this console, you want to have a 4K TV, or maybe if you want to have the PlayStation VR just to get the extra computing power. So in that way, it's good. And if you don't have a PlayStation already, if you kind of, if you know maybe you're gonna get a 4K TV in a few years, or maybe you just want the increased frame rate, and you have the money. It's good to like save the money, use it on games, accessories, but at the same time, you can look at this as a long-term investment. And even on, regular HD TVs, you will notice some improvements. And again, you need the 4K TV to really, show its potential. But I don't think that the question that's asked, is this for like a certain type of person, maybe who's looking to upgrade or doesn't have a TV. I personally think that's not the way to answer the question. That's just me. I think anybody can get this, and I think this could be useful for everybody. But it's a situation-based thing. And, if you kind of have the HD TV, just like a standard HD, to compare it with, other people arguing against you, it doesn't give you that many points or valid points to bring up in the argument to kind of defend yourself maybe. But again, I don't think this is just for one person. Whether you already have a PS4, that's not to say that you can't go out and get this for the better frame rates, the brighter picture, the higher detail, whether it's it's the brightness, it's the draw distance. There's many factors that can affect the argument. And I also think, if you look at the specs online, this is, I believe, the processor is the same, or it might be a little higher, but I believe this is like double the power as the original one. So, keeping that in mind, it's a long-term investment. It's something that it won't really be outdated anytime soon. If it does, it's gonna have hard competition. I'm not saying the original launch PS4 is outdated. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying this is something you can have that extra edge in. Now, personally, if you have the launch PS4, if you're just wondering, is this for me? Like, if you don't have a problem with your PS4, like if you're not really worried about those little bit of, the extra details you may get, if you're not like looking for every pixel on the screen to be pixel perfect, if you're like really not like that much into detail on it, then I can see why. And obviously, we've seen with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, there was the Xbox 360, the Elite, there was the S. There were so many different versions and little upgrades throughout each year for both the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And we know this with consoles. with the big console makers like Xbox and PlayStation. There's going to be many different variations of this console. You know, we've got 3 different variations now of this console. We've got the launch one, we've got the slim one, and we've got this one. So there's likely going to be more variations to come, especially with Project Scorpio coming this holiday season. And if looking at that project, the specs on the Project Scorpio, it's an insane console. I can only imagine it's going to be a lot of money, but that is an insane console. So, and I've looked at the specs. The Project Scorpio, the specs beat the PS4 Pro they beat any console out of the park. I mean, you know, when they put on the website the most powerful home console yet, looking at the specs, it's the most powerful. And so definitely by the holiday season, I think this there will be obviously another variation of the PS4. I don't think we're gonna go that quickly into the PS5 or whatever, because it's the Xbox has done well in terms of sales, but obviously it's starting and still looking at its sales now, it's done quite poorly versus the PlayStation. The PlayStation was a very successful console at launch and still is, so I don't expect for them to push out a new console just like that. And in terms of a new console, I mean like a new series. Again, there'll be a new variation. I'm pretty sure they'll have to come up with an upgrade for it somehow. And that's just for competition. And I'm pretty sure that will happen around that season or maybe a little bit later. Now, because they came out with this one a little bit late, so this one kind of does give them the leeway and the time to kind of push it back a little bit later. But then if you also think about it that way again, value-wise, if you know the Project Scorpio is going to come out, and most likely PlayStation will soon announce or release something with the same type of power relatively close to stay in the game. You wonder why. All right, holiday season. Why would I go out buy this? Because this is not expensive. We remember at PS4 launch was $399. I mean, this is the $399 console. The newer Slims that you can get brand new are cheaper. So, when you see that, the value does come into play. But again, I think this is a long-term investment. And I think it's just something you kind of have to remember. This still won't be outdated, but it's a long-term investment. But it's still quite hard to justify, and so obviously I'll get back to you guys with how that is. But I kind of hope you liked the unboxing. I know it was pretty boring. I know this was the most vague description I've given. But that's what this was, and I'll give you guys feedback on how the console is, and I hope you guys liked it.